Yo, still bills, what's the deal, man? Yo, I'm heading to work. It's hump day. I only got a 4-day work week because of Monday. So we already halfway through the week, man. But peep game, let's get into this shit, man. Straight up and down, man. And that's what Canelo Alvarez said about Bud, man. Uh man, listen, man. When Gary Russell sent his shot at Bud and was talking about, yo, I'll come up there and fight you or whatever the case may be, and yada yada yada, he took offense to that. And that man wasn't talking about getting in the ring with him. He was talking about, nigga, if we fight in the street, I'll break your fucking neck, nigga. You dig? He definitely said that. You know, when Tank was talking about jumping up, I'll test that nigga chin and yada, yada, yada. Come do it then. You dig? It's a certain level of offense that nigga took when you talking about smaller dudes jumping up to challenge him in the division where he's king at. He wasn't officially king, but he was the unofficial king up there as soon as he stepped foot in that division. He was the unofficial king. So a nigga took offense to that. You got me fucked up. These little bitch ass niggas think they could come up here and beat me in my own soil? Hell no. You ain't stepping in my sandbox and doing a motherfucking thing with me, my nigga. So I understand why Canelo was feeling the way what he said, why he said what he said. He feels slighted. He definitely feels slighted, man. Now, do I fully agree with it? No, I don't, because Bud has beat some good fighters, Brody. Bud has beat some good fighters. Once you fight a champion, and they're not just a champion by night like how Andy Ruiz was. No, but they capture they're a two-time champion, or they go on a multitude of title defenses, or even if they lose that belt, they go on and beat solid contenders. They're good champions. They're good fighters. They're definitely good fighters. So he's beat some good fighters, and I think his victory over Sean Porter is being completely overlooked because Sean Porter retired. So it has a certain look to it. It did, but nobody can tell me how he looked any different between that fight and the Spence fight. Nobody can tell me any different. Nobody. And with the way that he handled Spence, he didn't even handle Benavidez and Cavaliasquez and Sean Porter, and who else do we got up there? Kell Brook. He didn't even handle them in that manner, in that capacity. Them niggas was able to string together, win a couple of rounds before they met their demise. Victor Postol was number 2 in his division. I mean, I don't understand how we talking about this dude. He ain't fought nobody. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. Raimundo Beltran was a good fighter. Ricky Burns was a champion. Went to his own hood and beat him. The dude has some really solid wins under his belt. He has some real solid wins under his belt, and his accolades. The thing is, it's hard to call the fighters that he beat great because he's Michael Jordan in his division. He doesn't have anybody that's on his level in his division. He doesn't. We're not going to see greats again until after he retires at welterweight. You dig what I'm saying? So, no, the notion that he ain't fought no damn body is real asinine, man. It's like, yo, y'all are being real unfair. Y'all are being real unfair, especially when you consider that Spence and him have 2 common opponents. I'm just saying, man, like, yo, what are we doing here? What is we talking about? Now, on the flip side, I think Canelo was saying it out of spite. A lot of shit he's saying is out of spite, man. They've been challenging this dude consistently since he moved up. They want him to fight who they want him to fight. And when that's not enough, you're telling me somebody 21 pounds less than me, 3 divisions south of where I campaign at, is going to jump up here and beat me. And by a lot of people's estimation, stop him. Bud has the skill set to beat him. Like if they was in the same division, if Canelo was still at 54, it's like, yo, this is a pick'em fight right here. It's a pick'em fight. So I get why he's on the defensive. Like, yo, y'all just keep. It's not enough that y'all are saying I'm ducking underachievers in my division. Now y'all are saying that this dude can beat me when we don't even know how he looks at junior middleweight. Niggas is gonna feel slighted about that, man. Y'all niggas got me fucked up. He gonna jump up and beat me? y'all got to look at the bigger picture, man. It's not necessarily him saying, "Yo, he ain't fought nobody," trying to deflect off of him or whatever because of him just saying. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's simply y'all are saying this dude can beat me, and we don't even know how he looked. We don't even know how he'll look at junior middleweight, which I think he'll look incredible at junior middleweight. And y'all are also saying that he'll beat me because of how he handled Errol Spence, as if Errol Spence is a carbon copy of Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is a far superior fighter than Errol Spence. Canelo Alvarez is a generational talent, same as Bud. You dig? It's offensive. I get why he's slighted by it. And he's also beaten the better talent. Now he's had an opportunity to fight the better talent. Yeah, why? Because the PBC and Showtime, they controlled the welterweight division. They controlled the 154. So he had access to those fighters. Bud didn't. They sent Sean Porter off on the humbug, just like they sent Andy Ruiz off. We don't. We've exhausted all of our resources. Like, what can you provide for us as a company? You're not about to do nothing spectacular. Yeah, go on ahead and go on about your business, my guy. It was a send off, and he went over there and got stopped. Do I agree with that stoppage of Sean Porter? No, I absolutely do not. But that's what is showing up on the win loss rate. Column. He got a stoppage. He got stopped. But with Canelo being, he was a Showtime fighter at a point in time, so he had access to Lara, he had access to Angulo, he had access to Austin Trout, he had access to a multitude of these fighters over there on that side of the street. He had access to them, so it was easier for him to get those fights. Now, those fighters are better than the fighters that Bud has fought on his resume. Then when he eventually crossed over to not Showtime, but HBO, now you get Miguel Cotto and eventually Gennady Golovkin. There's nobody on Bud's resume equivalent to Gennady Golovkin. Nobody. Golovkin is an all-time great middleweight, Brody. That is a bad motherfucker. There's nobody on Bud's resume equivalent to Gennady Golovkin. Anybody saying that it is being extremely dishonest. Canelo has fought the better opposition, definitely. So I further understand why he's saying what he's saying. He doesn't even have a Cotto on his resume. And Cotto wasn't washed like they're trying to say that he was, but he was a little bit past it. He was a champion up there. And he was able to give Canelo good work. But he wasn't the Cotto that he wasn't the Cotto that beat Margarito. He wasn't the Cotto that beat Zab and violated Paulie Malignaggi. He wasn't that Cotto. He wasn't even the Cotto that fought Manny Pacquiao. He wasn't even the Cotto that fought Floyd Mayweather. He wasn't. Oh, son, train passing. He wasn't. We got to be real about that. We got to be real about that. So Canelo definitely has the better caliber of fighters on his resume. It's undisputed. There's no way you can get around that. Canelo definitely does have the better, the more challenging fights on his resume. He does. But he also had access to those fighters. He had access to them. Bud didn't have access to the rest of the welterweight division. The welterweights that he had access to, they went out of their way to denigrate because they're not PBC signees. Like Cavaliasquez. Now Cavaliasquez is over there on the PBC running train on niggas. And they ain't got shit to say. But Canelo did have access to a better caliber, had access to the better competition of fighters. He did. You just gotta be real about it. That doesn't make his statement true, though. Because Bud has beat some good fighters. He's beat some real good fighters. So I understand why he's saying what he's saying. I understand why and you also got to think about it, man. Just it's fighting at the end. This is the peak form of physical altercation. You dig? That's respectable. You know, if a nigga, if he run and go grab a blick or whatever, man, he gonna be looked at as, you nigga, he's a cold bitch ass nigga, bro. You got crashed and now you trying to bust on a nigga because you couldn't handle you couldn't win a head to head. You dig? That's some sucker shit. You dig? Niggas ain't respecting that. Niggas ain't respecting that. Even if you a shooter, if you a pro, if you are a gorilla stomp down shooter, niggas ain't gonna respect it. Especially if you overtly aggressive and you trying to curb a nigga and all that. You run and go grab the heat and come back and noodle that nigga. Niggas ain't gonna respect that. You're like, nah, bro, we don't respect that shit. So this is peak form of respectable a respectable altercation. It is. And what y'all telling me that a nigga can beat me is always gonna feel some type of way about saying you can't whoop him. The fuck you mean I can't? That's a challenge on your manhood for both fighters. Cause even Bud is like, now nigga trying to say that I ain't fought nobody. Here we go again. The dude just can't catch a break, man. He honestly just can't catch a break. If it ain't Benavidez, if it ain't Andre, if it ain't Jamal, if it ain't David Morrell, now it's Terrence Bud Crawford. 3 divisions beneath him in 21 pounds. Like, that shit is kind of ridiculous. It's a head scratcher. It's a serious head scratcher. You dig? Like I said, I just want to see Bud at 154 pounds first. Because niggas is really, I keep, people, oh man, he faster than Canelo. He's this and that. And the third, it's like, you don't know if that is going to all of the attributes he brings to a fight, the outboxing, the lateral movement, the punching power, the dexterity with to get to the side of shots, the ability to stay in the pocket and bang, catch the shots and comfortably catch the shots and shoot them back. Comfortably just stay in the pocket and parry everything and slip in the pocket without being and still be poised. Can he comfortably do that in front of somebody like Canelo who's knocking everything down at 168 pounds? You dig? The same niggas who would, just like the same niggas people can say styles make fights, man. As I've stated before, every attribute that Bud presents in a fight, Canelo has faced off with. Now, do I think they're as sharp and as slick as Bud? No, but size definitely matters. Especially when you're talking about fighting niggas that's 6 foot and taller than you and Bud. So they can create distance a lot easier and separation a lot easier than Bud can because just on the strength alone that their limbs are longer. It does come off offensive. Nigga be like, y'all got me fucked up. Nigga, like, fuck you mean I can't, what? Nigga, you bugging the fuck out. You think I can't do this? It's offensive. And I honestly don't think he'd get anything out of beating Bud. I don't. You dig? Anytime somebody is that revered in the public, they always want you to fight somebody just to say that you fought somebody because you ain't fought nobody. I remember seeing niggas going and really encouraging Bud to go fight Gary Russell Jr. Are you serious? Fight Gary Russell Jr. For what reason? Because we know what would have happened to him. We don't know what would happen to Bud. I'm not about to be obtuse about it because we both Nebraskans. I'm not doing that. I'll stay within the realm of reality. And just because you don't like Canelo that day, and I've had motherfuckers hit me up, man, I like him, I fuck with Canelo, but I'll just hold him to a certain standard. There's no way you can like somebody when you're consistently clapping at them. I'm like, it was a point in time where I was very standoffish with him because I started seeing how Eminem, because I started seeing how dastardly a lot of his deeds were. But I sung his praises because I was singing his praises for years, and I was putting in his mindset that he could do no wrong. I will overly sing his praises, and when I finally came to it was when he came out with that I can't remember the name of that album where he was real prolific and poetic and profound in there or whatever, and he did that cipher where it was a whole bunch of niggas standing around, and he was banging on Donald Trump, and everybody like, he got an album coming out, he promoting for. I'm like, he don't got to do that. That's Marshall. He ain't got to do that shit. And sure enough, he had an album coming out. I had to eat crow and go apologize to everybody who was telling me, yeah, man, he's promoting. So when that happened, I became a lot more like, nah, bro, just the blinders, the blinders opened up and I started holding him accountable. But I would also tell you he's top five and it's not up for debate. They don't do that with Canelo. I hear he's washed, he's this and that, and there's a multitude of excuses, and he ain't looking the same. He on. I had my man tell me that the niggas on PEDs. He been on PEDs from 2013 to 2018, and the effects of that is just now starting to permeate of him being on a decline because of the PED use from 5 years ago. When you are on a fucking substance that enhances your abilities and your physical abilities, you feel that shit immediately when you stop taking it. So the criticism levied against this motherfucker just really get a little bit, satirical. So I don't put too much stock into it, but I definitely understand where my, where homie is coming from. So that's how the fuck I'm feeling about it, man. I'm about to get this day over with, yo. Deuces.